Hello, everyone, and now I'm back again with two relatively new toys, and these are the Batman the Animated Series, and this is created by the DC Direct McFarlane Toys line, right? And um, these are somewhat a little bit harder to get here in Canada. I mean, it's I've been into forums that these are even hard to get in the United States because they were a Target exclusive. And, so a big shout out to my buddy Jeff, who was able to procure this for me from GameStop. GameStop started to sell these on pre order. I didn't know. Um, but my buddy was kind enough to grab these things for me. And this line has a build a figure, which is the Condiment King, right? So, um, to be honest, I had to look for the episode where Condiment King had his debut. I think he only had like one episode, one with the Joker in it. But anyway, I digress. But these figures, they're about like maybe 6 inches. So not my usual 1/6 scale stuff. But I got interested in collecting this line. I'm really into the Mondo 1/6 scale stuff. But to be honest, um, I don't have the financial capacity to collect all of the Mondo 1/6 scale stuff. So and this, of course, is a smaller scale, but it's also done by McFarlane figure, so they tend to be a little bit more on the affordable scale, which it scratches the itch, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to collecting this line. So I got two more to go, which is the Scarecrow and Mr. Freeze. So hopefully I'll get that soon, and I'll be able to build the Condiment King, right? So let's get them out of the box, and then we'll do our review. Okay, now that we've liberated Batman out of his box, we see that he has a file card, the figure itself, and we have five hand pieces that are interchangeable, a batarang, and also the grappling hook, right? And he comes with two hands attached. And at first, I was a little bit weirded out by the cell shading, but now that I see it, it's actually not bad at all. I think what it seemed at first, especially when he is in the box, is that he seems smaller in terms of like the body tone, but he's okay actually. So he does come with a file card with the animated series, and of course the profile at the back. So Bruce Wayne, like the usual spiel about how he became Batman. Nice, yeah. And I guess you could just collect all these, put them in a binder. That's always nice. The cell shading is actually not quite so bad. I would imagine if you put him at an angle, I guess this would be like if you're gonna display him, this would be like the way you'd always want the cell shading, like the shaded part, to be against the light. So I guess if I shine like let's test that with a flashlight here. Mm, yeah, that looks better. Say if you're gonna display him, it would look like that. Um, and He does have a bit of articulation. It's quite surprising, right? They've built so many good figures. So this is on a ball joint. Elbows are a ball joint. The hands are on a peg. There's some arm swiveling. I guess arm shoulder swiveling. And then there's a peg as well for the body. Granted, I don't think he goes all the way He doesn't bend all the way. I think. I don't know. Maybe it needs to be softened by like a hair dryer. Same thing with the neck, right? Those things tend to be softened by a hair dryer. The cape, though, thing about this cape is that it's a I don't know. It seems to be a little bit. I guess it's okay, but it's a little bit thin. I was like expecting it to have a little bit more width, right? But the articulation on the hips and all that, yeah, some of these things are, I think I still need to blow dry them with a hair dryer so that they become a little bit more pliable. I don't want to force it, but right now it's actually quite stuck, right? Like it's not cooperating as much as I would want to. And so it needs to be softened by a hair dryer, definitely, or else I might break the peg. But essentially, it's not a bad sized Batman. Get a ruler here. Yeah, 6 inches. He's just shy a bit of maybe 6.5, including the ears. Um, it couldn't get any, like in terms of accessories. You have the basics. You got like the hand that's holding the grappling hook. You have the grapple hook itself, a batarang. You have a hand that can hold the batarang, right? Like so. You can just swap that out. Two hands can hold them, one left and one right. And of course, the good thing about these figures is they're relatively inexpensive compared to like some of the 1/6 scale that I have. And to be honest with you, this might actually be a little bit more articulated because like I love the Mondo line, but I don't think it's going to be as articulated as this. And again, say if you're posing it in a sort of one of the pegs break, you're not going to cry because you can just go and grab another one. At 33 Canadian dollars a pop, they're not going to be as expensive as say like the 250 a pop Mondo toy. So this could easily be something that you could display with confidence, and if it falls off the shelf and like a peg breaks or whatever, it's okay, right? Like you won't be. It's not as it's not as expensive as the more high end Mondo stuff, and um, to be honest, it's actually quite good. Um, as long as you're not too picky about like sticking to one scale like I am. But I mean, even with that, I'm fine with this. So I think it's actually quite good. I mean, there's even with the cell shading on the belt and all that, I'm quite impressed. Even the logo, the bat logo symbol itself, that's not just painted on. I think it's embossed, right? There's some texturing here, and the face sculpt is actually quite nice. I think that there's like another version that McFarlane toys came out, and that was like it's the one that like the beefy chest, and that I didn't like at all. I kind of like this one, which is a little bit more well proportioned and more faithful to the animated series, right? And I don't know, like maybe people feel a little bit indifferently about the cell shading. Maybe they just want like a Batman that's like, kind of like plain like this. But this isn't so bad because, like I said, if you're gonna be posing it, it's all about the lighting, right? And I think the good thing about the cell shading is that it they're animated and they kind of remind you this is the animated series, right? So I like it. I like it. It's not a bad figure at all. Now let's go to Robin and compare it with Batman side by side. Okay, and now we have Robin. So setting aside the build a figure of Condiment King, because I kind of want to assemble him first, and I'll probably do a separate review of that, of the because right now I only have like the parts of the arms and lower torso. But basically, Robin is the same thing. You have a data file which tells you about the origin of Dick Grayson, aka Robin. And he comes with some accessories. So this is kind of like a bola whip. I remember the episode. I think that was like the two-parter that he had in the animated series. Again, same as Batman, you have a grappling gun hand, a closed fist, two of them, and then an open hand, right? Just trying to show that here because I have a green background, right? Now, what's interesting here is the cape. So, Robin's cape is entirely rubberized, and I think I like that better than Batman. Batman's cape is like made out of like a cloth material, but this, I'm surprised, is all rubber. Now, of course, they're using less plastic here than Batman, but like it kind of makes me wonder why not have like a rubberized Batman cape. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to save on the material, or maybe it's like a packaging thing. I've certainly seen some rubberized Batman cape. It's not like this would give you, more articulation, mind you, because it's like a thinner cape. But this one, I like it. I think it looks good with a rubberized cape. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But same thing. Robin's articulation is almost the same, except he doesn't have a torso articulation like Batman here, right? Side by side. Of course, Robin is a teenager, so he's the shorter of the two, aka Boy Wonder, right? So it's just probably like side by side. He's just a little bit shy of like Batman's shoulder length, right? And again, constraint here is that he doesn't have a torso. I don't know if I can twist this. Oh, it is twistable, but it's not like Batman's, which has it like you can twist and then also you could swivel a little bit up and down. Like, granted, this is also a little bit limited. Same with this Robin. I think I just need to put him under the hair dryer because right now everything is kind of stuck, right? Except for some of his legs, like hip articulation, but his knees are kind of like, for me, it's a little bit stuck. So I don't want to force and break this, because it might just break easy. Yeah, but I don't have a problem with the joints here. Unfortunately, I don't have a hair dryer right now, so I might have to get one, just so that I could. But interestingly enough, yeah. So the shins, they swivel. Yeah, I forgot to check that feature out. Wonder if and also the arm, I guess, like the gloves swivel as well. For both, yeah. No, just for Batman, right? This one is like solid all the way through. But in terms of like the color scheme, even the cell shading, I kind of am partial to the Robin a little bit, right? Like I feel like, I don't know, this might be sounding controversial, but this seems to be a better cell shading than Batman. I don't know, like the colors seem to be a little bit more vibrant, right? I don't know how people would feel about like this side of the face being cell shaded, but again, if you're posing him from front, that actually makes sense, right? But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Yeah, I'm kind of partial to the Robin now that I'm looking at them side by side. They're both fantastic figures, but I don't know, just like something about the collar of the Robin just sort of like pops out for me, compared to Batman. And I guess also like the way that this is rubberized. I don't know. It's just like one of those things that really look good on a figure for me, as opposed to say like a cloth figure on Batman. But I guess if you're displaying them, it's not much of an issue. But it's just like this, the way that it's just like shaped, um, it just looks better for me. Um, yeah, I mean, for me, it's about the aesthetics, right? I mean, if I don't think these are made essentially for kids, they're probably for like adult collectors, and I think the kids, of course, some of them may or may not be as familiar as opposed to like the 80s, 90s kids who grew up essentially with Batman the animated series, and for some of them it will be like the Adventures of Batman and Robin, um, which is derivative of this, but this is the animated series. Um, it's so it's like a nostalgia thing. It's like a blast from the past kind of thing. Um, I remember having those original animated series toys before I lost them. I was a child, and these are not bad homages to those, because it's nice. Like these, the even the R on Robin, that's not just painted on. It's actually quite it's textured, right? So it's beveled and all that stuff. I like it. I like it. I think this is a good line started by McFarlane. It really looks good. And again, for the price point that you're paying around $33 Canadian a pop. If you find it in the wild in the retail store, I know I've seen them on eBay and it's like ridiculous. I think for a set, I've seen some sets that go for like $200, and I think that's too much to pay for these figures. But who am I to talk? I mean, I guess it's all supply and demand, and I guess a lot of collectors have started to buy some of these figures in bulk. I know it's not unusual for collectors to buy two sets, right? One to keep and then one to open. I'm not one of those. Like for me, like a set is enough, and I open them. And the good thing about these boxes is, of course, you can always put them back in the box, right? Once you're done playing and displaying them, or in my case, reviewing them, you could always put them back in the box. And like for me, one set has always been enough. Uh, give a chance to the other ones who are trying to find them. Um, but yeah, essentially, like I said, overall, you know what? For the price point, can't complain. I mean, like how much is like one Mondo action figure is probably about like $200. So it's like a 1/10 of the price of one of these ones if you find them in the wild. Again, um, I'm not a toy speculator. I don't think that when I see a toy, it might go up in price at some point. Like for me, I enjoy these um, largely because of the nostalgia value, and I think this really scratches the itch. Like it hits the mark on my fascination with Batman the animated series. Again, a very influential cartoon for me back in the 90s, and still continues to this day. I kind of watch an episode. I have it all on my phone, and I watch an episode here or there, especially when I'm just waiting or I'm doing nothing. And sometimes while I'm working, I just press an episode and I just kind of like hear it in the background. It's a beautiful, you know, like I said, I can't say enough about the animated series of how much that is a great series for me, and it's just so memorable. And these figures just kind of like bring it out again, like the fascination. So I can't wait for McFarlane to bring out the rest of the line, so to speak. And I'm anticipating that this would be something that we'll see more figures. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, and hopefully that will be like a very good line to collect. So I can't wait, and hopefully I'll get Mr. Freeze and also the Scarecrow, and then we can build the Condiment King. So everyone, thanks for watching, and see you again next time.